Everybody, Dr. Sean Medlin here, and I'm very grateful and excited to be shining our community spotlight on Sacred Springs Micro Tap Room. So I've known Geoffrey before I even knew his name was Geoffrey because I would be coming into Sacred Springs and enjoying a kombucha. I'd bring my son with me and
Love
we'd
that.
play some games, and it was just so fun. And so finally met Geoffrey. He is a wealth of information with a really cool story. And so, Geoffrey, thanks for joining me today.
My honor. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, a couple questions for you today. I'd love to get the story behind the story. So, kombucha itself has a really cool background, but what is your background to it? Did you have a story on why you gravitated towards kombucha?
Yeah. It's a story like many stories where it's a beautiful accident that happened. So I was living in Eugene, Oregon, and there was a farmer's market. And my friend said, that booth over there has a drink that if you drink it, you feel amazing. And I was an organic vegan. I'm like, I already feel amazing. And I bought a bottle of it, drank it, and had one of the most beautiful days of my life. Looking back, I went to the woods and everything seemed vibrant. I seemed more lively. And looking back on it, I have allergic issue to penicillin.
Okay.
And so when I drank kombucha, I think it reset my gut from all the years of penicillin destruction. And obviously, when you reset the gut, you reset the brain, and
Yes.
the whole body works better. That's my story of stumbling into it. And then when my son was born 22 years ago, I decided I'm going to brew kombucha and told my cousin, get me a SCOBY. She lives in Chicago. She found me one in 2 weeks. I made horrible kombucha for years until I started making good stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yep. I tried to make it myself too. And thank you for being a gem in this community, sir.
It took work.
So let's talk about the simple science behind kombucha. Someone who's never heard of it before, doesn't know anything about it. What's a simple way that we can explain it to them?
Sure. I like to call it the original soda pop. So it's a little over 2,000 years old, originated in Korea. My guess is someone left some sweet tea out and drank it a couple weeks later and said, hey, the same idea as my experience. Hey, that made me feel really good. So it's a variety of yeast and bacteria and nutrients that go and feed the body in a way that creates destruction of inflammation and really helps the tube that goes from here to the other end. So that's its main glory.
Nice. The digestive tube.
The digestive tube, which
Yes.
is connected to all the other parts of the nervous system. So
Yes.
digestion's working good and the body can run good.
I like it. So that basically summarizes fermentation, right?
Yeah, so fermentation is letting food sit with some sort of culture, whether it be yeast. Originally, people were stirring stuff with a stick, and there was yeast on the stick from flowers and fauna around the area. So they thought these sticks were magic. But over the years, we realized that different bacteria, different yeasts, different enzymes, and when the food breaks down, it creates a world of micronutrients that aren't found, especially in today's food. So these little micronutrients, imagine we didn't have Mackinac State Bridge.
Yeah.
How hard it would be to get up to the UP. We'd have to drive all the way around.
Yeah.
These little micronutrients finish off little parts when our nervous system fires or our anti-inflammatory systems decide to take action. These little micronutrients are the things that make it so the process can be finished.
I have never heard that analogy before. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Let's
that's why
talk-
people feel, I feel so much energy when I drink kombucha. It's the little micronutrients getting replenished.
Okay. Creating almost shortcuts into the neurology and the gut.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's dive into the science a little more. So, probiotics, a lot of people know about probiotics. It's a hot topic. How does kombucha and probiotics work together?
So the interesting thing with kombucha is it's not a complex probiotic. So I'm still going to tell people like drink kombucha. It's healthy for your gut. But if you are lacking in complex probiotics, you're going to want to get a whole complex, whether it's supplemental form or eating a bunch of different digestive fermented foods. So kombucha has mainly Saccharomyces boulardii.
Okay.
I call it the vigilante bully. So it goes in, and if things are in our body that aren't supposed to be there, other bacteria that are like in a hole where they're not supposed to be, it goes and kicks them out.
Okay.
And then the other thing it does,
You need a enforcer around.
and it does it from your esophagus, in your mouth, in your stomach, in your small intestine, large intestine. the whole way through. So Mises Boulardii is something that's been used for a lot of different digestive issues that people have. And this is just a simple way of making it at home or coming into a store like this or buying something at a store to get it through kombucha.
Okay, that's really cool. Let's talk about how gut and stress interact, because a lot of people think I'm stressed and I feel it in my shoulders. And sometimes they get a sour stomach or they get gut issues and they can't bridge the gap between the two. So, how does guts and stress work together?
Sure. First of all, this is great. This brain right here. Yeah. The original brain is right down here in your belly. And so if that's got a bunch of distress going on in or ease, it's shooting all those messages into your nervous system, which can make everything go into fight or flight. When you're in fight or flight, you're not thinking, oh, I should digest this food and assimilate it and then eliminate it. You're usually running through your life or trying to stay safe. So when you're in fight or flight, it sets off the gut. If the gut feels out of balance, it can set off fight or flight. And we don't have a dial for that as humans. We just have a switch. Like something that's really dangerous or something that feels unsafe flips the same switch and we go into it.
That's awesome, because at our office, we teach about fight or flight versus rest and digest, the two different kind of healing mode versus stress mode. And the gut has so much to do with it, having the proper probiotics and decreasing stress.
One of the things that I love to talk about with stress and kombucha
Yeah.
is when you're stressed out, you're going to create a different mucosal lining from the esophagus to the stomach. That mucosal lining is more acidic. It's the probiotics we're talking about. They basically live behind the mucosal lining. They come out, they grab the food, they go back to the mucosal lining, they digest it, break it down, send it where it needs to go, and then send whatever's waste back out. So if that mucosal lining is acidic, if it's stressed out, if there's a lack of it, if it's not, we don't have the oil to slide everything through.
Yes.
It changes everything. And so that's one of the things I go back to the tube from here to here.
Yeah.
Kombucha helps strengthen it, give it more elasticity, fill in any gaps where it might be leaking. And so that's where like the whole world of the combination of if you're stressed and you're creating tension and mucosal lining gets off, then it doesn't matter how great your digestive system could work. It's just it's like trying to drive a Porsche through a 2-track in the UP. It's just not going to do it. It's a great car, really cool road. These things aren't matching up.
Yeah.
So when you relax, you can get yourself to a point where all that can come back into balance and everything that's there to do its job can actually get the job done.
That makes so much sense. So it's insanely healthy for you. And it tastes good?
Because yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is there's lots of kombuchas out there. So some kombucha is going to be more acidic and it's going to raise more pH level in your digestive system. Some kombucha is going to have forced carbonation, which is going to take someone who has reflux or GERD or an upset stomach. That carbonation is going to make them be burpy.
I've heard of that before, where some people say, I tried kombucha and I don't like it because I felt like I was burping a lot afterwards.
Yep. And so when it's in stores, it has to be forced carbonated to not continue the fermentation process and not turn into alcohol or turn into a strange vinegar. So that's one of the reasons I like people home brewing. It's one of the reasons I like having this tap room is that we don't force the carbonation in there that much, so that people who do have digestive issues can actually ingest it and have a good experience.
So that's the difference between what you brew and something you buy in a store, right? Because this tastes bubbly. This tastes like it has a little bit of punch, but it's not overly bubbly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's natural effervescence. So when kombucha is brewing, there's yeast and bacteria. So when it gets sealed up, that yeast and bacteria keeps coming to life, off gases and makes natural effervescence.
Yeah.
But you bring in forced carbonation to starve out the oxygen so the yeast and bacteria quit that process. Our kombucha is so fresh that we don't have to do that.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's why it's one of the reasons it tastes so good.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah. Health can feel good and taste good, doesn't it?
It should.
Yeah.
Yes. It should create a pattern where you like it and then you do it again and then you do it again. Can gut health affect mood?
Yeah, because a lot of those probiotics we're talking about, they're like, and specifically bifidus helps us create melatonin. So if you don't have this specific probiotic in your large intestine, then your melatonin levels can go down, which can throw off your circadian rhythm. So then you're not sleeping good. And also, bacteria talks 3 times faster than our nervous system. So if you have healthy bacteria that's sending out a message of heal, break this down, assimilate that, let's do these things, then that message can override whatever the nervous system might have been experiencing in a loop cycle to get us back to a better spot.
Interesting. I love that.
They're very connected.
Yes. So tell me a practical takeaway for our team here. Something that we can almost start today or tomorrow that is super simple for our gut health.
The simplest thing is going to be drink water and breathe properly. So that's really simple there. I would say it's as simple as it sounds, it can be hard, but listening to your body. Everyone's out there always researching, trying to find out what's going to make me healthy. And sometimes you just need to sit back and listen to yourself and say, oh, that's it.
The simple thing.
Yeah.
We try to overcomplicate stuff, don't we?
That way we're more important.
So I want to dive into one of the 2 obvious ones you said, water and breathing. Expand a little bit on breathing for me.
Breathing is the ingestion of oxygen, but we were just talking about with probiotics and bacteria found in kombucha, like they thrive off of oxygen. So when we breathe, especially if we breathe slowly and deeply, then that can take us out of the fight or flight response, put us back into the balanced state. It's called ventral, where you're from the front area of the body, things are available, the front lobe of the brain is available. So something as simple as just slowing down and breathing, and go back to this whole thing of what we're talking about, gut health and the nervous system.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I don't think, realize that breathing can affect fight or flight versus rest and digest. Like you were just alluding to.
If you start breathing in a way that you wouldn't be if you were running for your life, then it can really offer your body the opportunities to check back in and say, oh, I guess I am safe. Yeah, I can relax now.
Yeah. And the body can focus on gut health more than fight or flight, where blood is rushing to the extremities and you're more of a run from the tiger mentality.
Yeah. And then in the world of musculature, everything tightens up because it's tense. So we're trying to relax and get our back feeling better or get our shoulders feeling better.
Yeah.
Which will then lead me on to water. If you want to be a dried up, rigid desert where there's no oil in your machine and everything's grinding, then get dehydrated. And if you don't, then drink water.
How's that imagery for you? I love that.
Just true.
It's true. We have to hydrate, we have to breathe. And those are 2 great, easy suggestions that we can do immediately. Like right after watching this, grab a cup of water and make sure that we're sitting upright. We're breathing into our belly and our chest.
Good reminder.
Last question. Let's bust some myths. So what's maybe one of the top myths that you heard of in the community about kombucha that we'd like to address?
Sure. The first myth would be that it can't taste good. The second myth would be that if you drink kombucha, then you're ultimately healthy then. Which is not true. Health is a state of wholeness, so you got to check out your thoughts. We talked today about how kombucha is a specific probiotic, but it's not all of them. So if you are looking for full gut health, kombucha can help set the body up to receive it all, but you still want to add more on top of that.
I love it because it's a journey. This health thing is a journey, and we add little baby steps. It's not about a full reconstruction of our entire life so that it just dramatically changes, but little things like drinking some more water today, breathing a little differently, maybe grabbing a cup of kombucha from Sacred Springs. And these little things help us become our true selves because we're meant to heal, we're meant to thrive. And I think when we bring in and engage our inner community and the gems around this community in Grand Rapids that really focus on health and wellness, we're going to be the best versions of ourselves.
And we can all be there for each other.
Yes.
This is key.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jeff.
My honor. Let's cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers, Rapids.